everyone, my name is Faz from Nintendo Players UK, and I'm here with the voice of Tim Goodman, Khoi Dao. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that
Oh no,
correctly.
you're great. That was exactly how you say
Yay! I didn't mess up an Asian name.
it.
I'm actually a very big pedantic person because although I go by Faz, I have the same issue. So it's like, that's how it is. How are you today, Koi?
I am fabulous today.
You sound fabulous.
Thank you. How are you?
I am doing okay. It's coming towards the end of my day today since PST and BT are a very big difference. I didn't realize how much of
Yeah,
a huge
my day's
time
just
gap that was.
beginning.
And my day is slowly close to ending. So yeah, if you guys, for the people who are uninitiated and don't know who you are, would you mind telling everyone who you are and what you do?
Well, my name is Khoi Dao. I think we've been over this.
Yes, we have.
Uh,
You are
m-
right.
most of you might know me as Tim Goodman, the player character from Detective Pikachu for the Nintendo 3DS. That's probably my most high-profile project so far. If you're an anime fan, which I know there's a fair amount of overlap between video game fans and anime fans, you've and you have a Netflix subscription, you've probably heard me scattered here and there. I am in at least half of Netflix's anime lineup.
Can you name a
Um,
few for everyone?
oh yeah. Let's see. March Comes In Like a Lion, which just hit Netflix beginning on June 1st, I think.
Hmm.
I play Rei Kiriyama, the lead character. It's a show about a kid who lost his parents and has thrown himself into the world of shogi, which is, to describe it crassly, Japanese chess. And he learns to love himself and finds his purpose and meaning in life. It's sort of a coming of age slice of life story. It's really beautifully animated. So if you haven't seen it, I really recommend you check it out because that is one of the performances that means the most to me, and I think it's one of my best works. And also, I get to act alongside a bunch of really, really talented actors. It's directed by Wendy Lee. I'm not sure if you know her, but she's a heavy hitter in the anime industry. So there's a lot of great people working on this, and you should definitely check it out.
Will do. At least I've heard of March Comes In Like a Lion.
Yeah,
So
no,
I know it's the
it
one with the really adorable child.
yeah, it's oh yeah, oh my god, oh she's played by Xanthi.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's voiced by Xanthi in the English dub. Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't realize it was her. Okay. Okay. For context, Xanthi, I believe I'm gonna butcher the surname. Hyun. She plays a few characters from the Fire Emblem series as well. She played in Fire Emblem Heroes. As I've forgotten her name, the Princess of Death, I believe it was, but I wasn't particularly sure what the character's name is. Someone will correct me on that. I'll get Vincent to kick my butt about that one. Anyway, but yeah, go on. And you also play Raffaello in the Final Fantasy series, which surprisingly you're in both Pokemon and you're in Final Fantasy, which is like the two biggest RPGs out there. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's true. It just hit me as well. I do get to be a part of a lot of really cool franchises, and I've got a bunch coming up that I'm really excited to talk about, but can't at the moment because that's how things work. But yeah.
so I guess the $1 million question is, how did VA begin for you?
Oh
How
my.
did this all begin?
Oh my goodness. Well, as a fellow Asian, what a great way to start an answer, right?
Yeah.
Um, I had that stereotypical, very sheltered Asian upbringing where, the arts was something you could indulge in once in a while, but what was really going to secure your future was, let's say, a career in STEM
Mm.
or literally anything else that's not acting. because we all know what that stereotype, the whole thing about moving to LA and being a starving artist for years before you get your first big break is. So the actor dream had very much been beaten out of me,
Mm.
um, until I got into USC, which is located in Los Angeles, California. So I was already going to be moving to LA for college anyway.
Mm.
And my first summer there, I attended Anime Expo, because
Yeah. Okay.
why not? USC is like a couple blocks away from the LA Convention Center, so and I had time. So I got my badge. This is back when a 4-day pass was still $50. Now it's like $1,000,000 and two of your limbs to get a 1-day badge. But I digress. So I get to Anime Expo, and a studio where I now work regularly, which specializes in dubbing anime, had a booth there, and I visited them and collected a couple of pamphlets regarding the classes they were offering.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? Why not? You know, let's just try it out, see what happens. And you know that feeling that you feel when you fall in love, when your hands get all tingly and your heart beats really really fast. That was the feeling I experienced when I stepped up to the mic for the first time. And I was like, you know what? This is something really special. So instead of spending money on food, I invested everything that I had into VO classes outside of my uh, college curriculum at the time.
Mm.
And one thing led to another, and eventually I found myself receiving auditions and then booking, and that's sort of how the ball started rolling on VO for me.
How long did it take from you from let's say from classes to first audition effectively?
Let's see. My first class was, I want to say, in the last third of 2012. Then I started getting the attention of casting directors who were listening to the stuff that we were doing in class after I sort of learned how to act a little better. Um, and then things stopped moving for me because I decided to to study abroad in Japan. So that
Mm.
was a big pause button for a whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I came back and I tried to, get the ball rolling again on this whole VO thing. And it took me about a good 9 to 12 months of relentlessly emailing casting directors, reminding them of who I was in the classes I'd taken, and sending them clips of those classes. And eventually they were like, you know what? Sure, let's give him a chance. And they sent me my first audition after about a year of me harassing them via email. And yeah,
That was like what, 2013, 2014 now?
now we're in oof. Actually, no. Now we're in 2016. I neglected to mention that I'd been taking classes for 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Balancing classes and going to college. And then I studied abroad, so add one more year, and then I
Mm.
came back, and it took me a whole nother year to recapture whatever small amount of attention I'd gotten before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've come back. You've finally got your first edition back from when you came back from Japan a year
Mm-hmm.
later, so 2016. So how did the role for Tim come about?
Oh, it was one of the many auditions that would later follow once I warmed things up again, once I'd reheated my VO career upon returning from Japan. So I'd gotten the audition in my inbox from Bang Zoom Entertainment, which is the studio that worked on Detective Pikachu. And Nintendo likes to be secretive. They're very protective about their projects. If it's the first audition, a lot of details are going to be redacted. A lot of lines are going to be altered to so that it seems more ambiguous, and it's not particularly indicative of any particular franchise. It's just so that, in case this actor doesn't get this part, they don't know what it was that they auditioned for, and the secret is protected.
I hear that a lot from a lot of the other
Yeah.
VAs we talk to. You can check out the other ones if you want to
Mm-hmm.
find out more. But when did you finally find out that it was a Pokemon thing?
I mean, as a Pokemon fan, as a huge Pokemon fan, actually, I figured it out the second after my first read through of the script, because sometimes they don't do a great job of redacting this information, and there was a lot of language that seemed indigenous to a franchise that involved capturing animals in balls and making them fight.
Do you remember your first line?
First line for the game or for the audition?
For the audition, because normally sometimes it can be a little bit different from in-game. So I found that to be the one of the more interesting things.
Oh yeah. I don't remember what the first line for the audition was. I do remember what the first thing I say in the game is. But yeah, it's a pretty common thing. Usually, the audition they send you isn't always going to be the first thing you say in the game. It's going to be either a part of the game that's most reflective of the kind of character you're gonna play, just so that they can immediately get a sense of whether or not you understand the character, or whether or not you can access this headspace that they want you to access. Or it's gonna be they're gonna send you a sample platter of scenes, just to see how far they can stretch you, whether or not you're able to capture all these. All the nuances and the details of this character. So yeah.
I mean, I kind of think Tim isn't really that much different from your regular voice.
No, not at all.
It's just making sure it's like, not quite crazy. It sounds almost exactly the same. So what was that like? I would say, what sort of direction were you pulling for Tim exactly when you were playing the role, when you're playing the character?
Let's see.
Just playing Khoi? Were you playing Khoi?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, a little more of a down to earth and sterile version of Khoi. See, the thing that what people don't really the most common misconception about voice acting is that what's gonna get you jobs is how many voices you can do, or how funny or cool this voice is, or whatever. But really, your best selling point is how well you can do your own voice, because nobody else is gonna be able to do your voice as well as you can. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense, because a lot of other VOs have said
exactly the same thing.
Similar. Not exactly. Yeah. We normally ask this question at the end, but you're just answering it now. So like, all right, sure, go for it. The floor is yours, my friend.
So yeah, you could be a Mark Hamill sound-alike, but why would they hire a Mark Hamill sound-alike when they could just hire Mark Hamill? Yeah. So the process usually is, I consider who the character is, what they want, what they do, what they're going for, and then whatever voice arises from that is the voice of that character. People usually think you choose what the character will physically sound like first, and then do the acting, but it's actually the reverse. You act, and then you lay the resulting voice on top of it. So that's usually how that goes. And for Tim, well, he's supposed to be like a stand-in for whoever's playing the game, and I think by design he was meant to be a pretty plain, uh, uninteresting dude, but that doesn't always make for a very captivating game.
I mean, that's not true. I mean,
Yeah,
there was a mystery to this, and kind of the central plot was to do with Tim himself. I know the interesting dynamic is obviously Detective Pikachu talking.
yeah,
Pikachu talking in normal plain English,
Mhm.
American English.
yeah,
But
with that deep, gruff KG Tang voice.
yeah, yes. Hey, KG. uh, what was I saying? Have you actually, on a side note, have you met KG? Have you?
Oh
met,
yeah,
do you say, is it KG or Kaiji? I
it's
say Kaiji.
well, he calls himself KG. People I know call him KG. Yeah, I think we're good with calling him KG.
Okay, KG. My apologies. Have
Oh
you
yeah,
had a chance to meet Detective Pikachu himself? And
yeah.
does he generally sound like that?
Oh, normal KG speaks at a higher register. I think that's him accessing his lower register because he's a pretty young guy. Um, yeah, no, I've run into KG a couple of times. We're on friendly terms, you know. We're those two guys who say hi to each other whenever they run into each other at work. Our relationship's pretty casual.
Have you actually hanged out with each other outside of the booth?
I don't think so. No, I would love to be friends with KG, like friends. You know how there's friends and then there's work friends. I'd like
I
to,
see.
yeah, I like to ascend to that zone of friends. And KG, if you're listening, please hit me up, cause you know sometimes my days are long and a little lonely and at risk of making this super weird. I'm gonna.
Continue. It's fine. I'm not stopping you.
No. He's KG's cool.
But one day we'll get a chance to talk to KG, and if I can remember to keep this recording in
Yeah.
place, I'll try to make sure it's there for him. Would you did you happen to have a favorite line in Detective Pikachu playing as Tim Goodman, or even just like interacting with one of the other characters?
Oh my goodness, my favorite thing that I've gotten to say while recording Detective Pikachu was Pikachu Thunderbolt,
He
cause
doesn't use it.
and he doesn't use it, but I still get to say it just because it's like it's that moment where as a lifelong Pokemon fan, where you dream of one day Pokemon becoming real and becoming a Pokemon trainer. That's the closest I'll ever get to fulfilling that dream. Is to get to speak that line in a Pokemon video game. That was it was a very exhilarating 3 seconds of my life.
Hey, look. Okay. Usually you're playing a mute, so you probably will be the only character that gets to speak and say that outside of Ash. So I'll like, hey, you've got this. I'd say until the next real life character, we'll get to that. Says Pikachu used Thunderbolt in a video game setting. Let me be very specific about that. I think you're the only one so far. I can't think of another one where that's the case.
I'm sure in the anime Ash has said that.
But
So
that's not in video game. That doesn't
I
count.
see.
See, so technically you're in game canon.
I guess. You're right. You know what? You're right. I don't know why I'm fighting this. You're right.
Yeah. Because I remember that one interaction where Detective Pikachu meets Pikachu,
Mhm.
and it's Ikue Otani's Pikachu.
Yes.
And there was the line that goes, "Oh, go be the very best," like no one ever was, and it's implied that it's Ash's Pikachu. So technically, this is the same universe.
Yes.
So technically, we're in
Yeah.
the same universe as the in canon one. So so at least at least the anime one at least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got that. So yeah, that needs me neatly. What did you think of Detective Pikachu the movie?
Oh, I loved the movie. And I'm not saying that just because Nintendo might be listening and deciding whether or not they want to hire me again. I very much genuinely enjoyed the movie as someone who has been indulging in the Pokemon franchise since childhood. to finally see Pokemon being brought into the real world and to see the universe that they built. I think, it's basically, if Pokemon were real, if that dream were to come true, this is what the world would look like. And to get to see that was something that made, the little kid inside all of us, the little kid inside me, extremely happy. I mean, the story was fun, but the sense of awe for me came from just being able to finally see what the world would look like if Pokemon were real, and that was something that was really cool. Oh, and I guess my favorite part too was I'm not sure if they did this in cinemas in the UK, but did you receive like movie exclusive Pokemon trading cards when you went to the theater?
Yeah, we had to watch it in 3D though, so
Oh,
that
you.
sucked.
Oh.
But yeah, we did get them. Some people got it within 2D. I didn't, and those people who got it in the 2D showings,
Uh-huh.
you lucky so and so's. You didn't have to go through the hell I had to.
Ah.
But
Well, I'm a lucky so and so, I guess, because I got it at a
yeah.
2D showing. I actually got
I,
two. I went with my girlfriend, and we opened one, and we decided to keep the other one sealed just in case they're worth $1 million, like maybe 10, 20 years from now.
they usually do because the sealed ones, especially movie ones, are hard to come by.
Uh-huh.
So like
So,
anything from the original Pokemon movie
uh-huh.
goes for quite a lot. I wouldn't say $100 million, but definitely a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had mine. Which cards did you get?
I got a Charizard.
You son of a!
I got the movie Charizard.
You.
Yeah.
I'll trade you a Jigglypuff, a shiny foil Jigglypuff
No, thank you.
for that Charizard.
I'll keep my Charizard. Thank you very much. It's so, oh my gosh, it's so funny that with the introduction of the fairy type, a Jigglypuff could easily defeat a Mega Evolved Charizard, which would be a Dragon type. That's
You say you obviously haven't played Smash then.
I don't frequently play Smash. I play it enough to be able to discuss it, kind of, but I couldn't go in depth.
Okay, going back to Detective Pikachu then. What was your favorite moment in Detective Pikachu?
The movie or the game?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, cause the storyline is a little different from the storyline in the movie is a little different from the one in the game. There was a twist in there that I actually was not anticipating, and that was for what's his face? The guy. Are we allowed to spoil the movie in this interview? I'm assuming people have seen it, right?
I'm assuming people have seen it. I know people in the NPUC groups have seen it. I know some of them have done we did an entire thing about it.
Okay,
so spoilers here about Detective Pikachu. Go watch it if you haven't already. If it's out of cinema, wait till the DVD.
yeah, because my favorite part is essentially the twist.
At the end, where it was,
when we're
the old man.
yeah, we're the old yeah. That for because the target audience is kids, but movies do this thing where they'll engage the adult viewers accompanying their kids as well. So no, that got me from behind. Yeah, no.
I thought the Ditto was a great twist.
Yeah, that was actually horrifying to me.
I thought that was actually really cool.
It was not. It was cool. It was cool. I can see how the Ditto face in anime wouldn't be as scary, but when you bring it to live action, it's a little uncanny valley. So that kind of frightened me a little bit to see.
All Pokemon's lives matter, okay?
Yeah.
It's fine. It was cool. The person who played her was great.
No,
It was actually pretty cool.
No, she was fantastic.
Okay, what was your favorite moment in the game? Because you never answered that.
My favorite moment in the game, other than getting to scream Pikachu Thunderbolt. I'm not sure if it's a specific moment, but I like how Tim goes from being a very soft spoken and shy little kid to a more reliable and cool sort of guy towards the end. Yeah. No, his character arc is well for me personally was what I really liked, and as the person who portrayed him in the booth, it gets really tiring to go line after line being that weak little kid. At one point, you kind of want to do something cool, and so that development for me was a much needed thing.
I was gonna say, what did you think of Smith playing you effectively?
Justice Smith?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in the movie? Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's a talented actor. I haven't seen a lot of his other stuff, but that emotional scene that he had with Detective Pikachu in the movie, where he's crying. You see, the beauty of voice acting is that I don't have to do the face part. I could never emote as well as Justice Smith or another on-camera actor. I think he's a really solid actor, and I think he did the character of Tim Goodman a lot of justice, and he probably managed to give him a more of a macho vibe that Tim was desperately missing in the game, just because naturally my voice sounds like it belongs to a 12-year-old.
Hey, I didn't say that, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I think your voice is fine.
Aw, shucks. You don't have to say that. I already like you.
Aw. I guess I'll take it back then.
Oh, wait. I just thought of my actual favorite moment in the movie. Oh my god, it just came back to me.
Okay, go.
Okay, here's my actual favorite moment in the movie was the first 5 minutes.
Was this like when he went into the wild?
Yeah, where Tim goes to capture a Cubone. It was funny. It was cute. I loved the other side character. I don't know who the actor is.
I'm not sure myself, but I definitely know.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the other guy. Yeah, whose costume was essentially red.
Yeah.
He was dressed as generic Pokemon trainer.
Yeah.
That I think was super cool. The whole you gotta approach it, you gotta throw a Pokeball at it. No, it was that was a great way to hook me into the movie.
When you put it like that, I kind of I see what you mean. I think one of my favorite moments is still I say there's too many favorite moments. I need to like proper dissect this because we haven't gotten around to doing it on our own podcast stuff. But I think one of my favorites is Ryan Reynolds singing the Pokemon theme.
Oh yeah! Oh my goodness, that's another great moment too.
So I was gonna say, who do you think would you if you and KG teamed up? Would you reckon you'd win in a Pokemon battle against Ryan Reynolds and Justice Smith?
As in if KG and myself were Pokemon trainers.
Yes.
I think we would win, yeah. Just because he and I are bigger Pokemon fans than I'm assuming Ryan Reynolds is. Because, he's a big Hollywood star. He doesn't have time for our nerd crap.
You don't know that.
I don't know. I'm assuming people in Hollywood are a little too cool for video games. I don't know. Not sure if that's a dated opinion, but
Right, I want to see this happen. This is a grudge match now.
Mm-hmm.
KG Tang teaming up with Khoi Dao versus Justice Smith and Ryan Reynolds in a Pokemon battle. We need to see this happen. Make it happen, Pokemon. Come on.
Just because I'm super familiar with my type matchups too, and I don't know if Ryan Reynolds would necessarily know what he was doing. I'm not dissing the guy. I'm just saying that's my perception.
Right. Since you're such a big Pokemon fan, as we've already established for the last half hour, what apparently you went to E3 and you made us all jealous.
Yeah. Haha.
Why were you at E3?
Why?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'd been invited to speak on a panel for this other game that I'm in, so they'd given me an exhibitor badge that gave me access to E3 for all 3 days. So, yeah.
The amount of anger, the amount of rage. Okay, so
well, the circumstances are mostly geographical, which is not something that we can always help. But
I know, but I'm still jealous.
I know. Haha.
I mean, you're the closest person I know who's been to E3 right now in this very interview. Okay. But that's just how it is. What did you get a chance to play Pokemon Sword and Shield?
No, I did not, cause the line for the Nintendo booth was wrapping around the whole convention hall.
Do you know how long it might have been the queue?
I don't know, but they had you. So what you had to do was show up early enough in the morning to be given an assigned time slot at which you could return to play the game. So, yeah, it was crazy, and as much as I love Pokemon, I don't know if I had the physical stamina to wait hours to get access into the. So what I did was Nintendo the Pokemon setup had this alley cutting through the middle where media people could go and take photos and just record people playing the game and stuff. So what I did was I actually had the chance to walk through that little alley and just experience the game vicariously through watching other people play it. And it was good enough. I mean, the game's gonna come out in November, so it's just a little patience, which I hope will be rewarded.
It will be. I mean, you did say this whole problem was geographic, but when the game comes out, you're coming to effectively my area, my neck of the woods. Galar region is based on the UK, so that's the only thing I get to say in this scenario where I can feel like I somewhat one-upped you. Other than
all
that,
right, I submit.
What do you tell me more about the Nintendo booth? Because obviously you've been there, I haven't.
It was. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that you were not there.
I was not. Yes, I was, and so was many other people from the UK who wasn't there.
In your faces. No, the Pokemon area specifically was set up to look like a gym. So there were the walls were decorated were made to look like the stands in the stadium, and you were playing like on the grassy fields that you see in the trailers for Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a super cool setup, and then they had the big TV screens with looping trailers, and there were little statues of the 3 starters set up outside where people could take photos. So that's what that setup was. Which starter are you picking? Which starter are you picking?
I was gonna ask you.
Oh, who's interviewing who now?
I see how it is. Well, for me, I'm a Score Bunny guy.
No!
I'm of the fire starters. I've always been a fire starter since the beginning. So I will continue my trend.
Lame. Gross.
No, not lame.
This interview is over. Just kidding.
I'm gonna cut that bit out. No, who did you pick? Who are you going to pick?
I am going to pick Sobble.
Sobble. Why?
Sobble. Well, A, because of the prime grade A meme fodder that this Pokemon will undoubtedly provide.
Yes.
Um, and B, because I'm a water starter guy. That's
Oh.
just yeah.
So we're natural enemies.
Yeah. But I have
Oh,
the type advantage, so watch out.
damn. Got a no love for Rookie, as usual. This whole thing is really strange to me. I've only just realized this. So you remember going back to Detective Pikachu? You remember that one scene where you see two trainers actually battling, and it was actually meant to be like a proper, more traditional battle, but it was only on a TV screen that you saw it.
Oh, in the movie? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the Galar region, at least the way they set up the stadiums, seems like.
Yeah.
And it's even weirder because Rhyme City, at least in the movie, was based in London.
Yeah, it was.
So it seems more like, how can I put this? It just seems really weird, and I don't know if anyone else had seen that, and I don't know if you had seen that either. I don't know what my point with it is. I just think, oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, because in the game, the Rhyme City has a more European feel, like a more French feel.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's got a more New York City feel.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's
that was an aesthetic difference that I did note in the back of my head when I was experiencing the movie. So no, I totally get what you're saying.
hopefully.
Yeah.
What else? Okay, back to E3. Tell me more about the Nintendo booth that you glanced around in. Did you play any of the games that when that was there?
No, I just walked around and looked at shiny things and pointed them out and marveled at them.
Tell me more about the shiny things you saw.
Okay, so aside from the huge Pokemon stadium that they had set up, there was also what is that game? Luigi's something something. Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion 3. I didn't know there had been a second one, but apparently there was.
It was on the 3DS called the Dark Moon.
Ah, yes, and I suppose that's the official second one. But yeah, there was an exhibit for that set up where you could enter Luigi's Mansion, and then stuff happened in it. I guess I don't know what happened because I didn't go in there, but I know people who went in and they have a generally positive impression of the exhibit. So
Okay.
yeah, so there was that, and then there was I think what was a press area set up
Yeah.
on a second level where they were talking about a bunch of other titles that were coming to the Switch, like Astral Chain. I'm not sure if you
Astral Chain. I love that game. I'm really excited for it because it's a platinum game.
yeah. That's
Do you
that's
like
one of the
platinum
games that what games?
Do you like platinum games?
Platinum games?
Yeah, they're the guys who make the they're a studio, and they're the guys who make Bayonetta, and they're the ones who are producing
Ah,
Astral Chain. I just didn't know if you were interested in a platinum game, so I'm guessing no.
I'm not familiar with their work. No.
Oh, that's okay. Anyway, go on. You were saying E3 stuff.
Oh no, yeah, that's pretty much all I can remember from the Nintendo setup. They had a lot of space because, as you may know, Sony and a bunch of other big guys weren't there,
Mm-hmm.
which left us a lot of walking room, which was fantastic. But yeah, no, I think E3 might as well just be just be renamed Nintendo and Friends, just because
Ah,
they sort of steal the show every year.
oof, oof. That's some big words. That's some big words coming from you there. Was there any particular favorites that you had at E3 in general?
Favorite
Game
game?
that you saw or liked or played?
Yes. I'm sure you've seen photos of the Borderlands 3 setup, but they
I
had
have not.
you
But go
have
on.
not. Okay, well, after we're done, it may behoove you to Google image search it because they had these beautiful statues set up right as you enter the showroom floor, which was probably my favorite shiny thing that I saw that day. That's one thing. I'm basically just gonna go down a list of things that captured my attention because again, basically all I did at E3 was walk around and go ooh ah. Uh oh, the Monster Hunter booth also had a huge dragon display at their thing, which I thought was super cool. And they had have you played Monster Hunter?
I am aware of Monster Hunter. Also, shout outs to Socks, the community manager from Capcom.
Yeah, no, they had you know the little cat companions that the game gives you, right? The palicos.
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody who went to E3 took a photo with the palicos, including myself. And they also crafted these weapons that you see in the game that you could hold and point at the dragon and take photos with. Now that was super cool too. And Fortnite had a big presence at E3, and their whole thing was just sensory overload. You know, they had what do you call that? Shoot. What do you call that thing that movie theaters, that old school movie theaters used to advertise what their
Projectors?
No, not projectors. Doesn't matter.
I think when you figure it out, you'll tell me.
I'll tell you when I figure it out. God, it's like I'm paid money to speak the English language or something. No, but they had this bouncy house type thing where you could just go in, jump, and avoid this thing that came swinging at you every once in a while. They had a guy in a tomato costume dancing on a stage. Now, it was and they had this giant hamster ball thing that you could go inside and take photos in, and it was like about in front of a green screen, so you could do whatever you pleased with the photo once you obtained it. No, it was it was a super extra booth, but I guess that was all of E3 was just neon colored sensory overload. It was a very exciting place to be at.
All right. I think that answers most of my questions. We've been rambling. We have been going back and forth on like 5 different topics, admittedly. This is what happens when you get like 2 young people effectively doing that. I say relatively young people. But yeah, I only have one fan question this time. I think it's an important one. Who would Savan Gandecha, if I've pronounced that correctly, who would be your partner Pokemon and why?
What was the first part of that question?
Who would be your partner Pokemon and why?
My partner Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
KG Tang does not count.
Okay, shoot, that was gonna be my answer. Okay, so are there region restrictions? Can I choose?
I've not been given a region restriction, so you can go as far and as wide as you would like.
Okay, well, with Pokemon Emerald being my favorite game, my favorite entry in the Pokemon franchise, which, as everybody knows, is much better than Pokemon Crystal.
I wonder who that's a dig at. I wonder.
I would pick the Hoenn region, and I would pick Mudkip as my starting partner Pokemon. And I know what you're gonna say, Khoi. You're only picking Mudkip because of the meme, the one that goes, "Do you like Mudkips?" To which my answer is yes. But I will have you know that I was very much a Mudkip fan before the meme happened. There is, of course, no way for you to verify this, but I can go down a list of reasons why I love Mudkip. The first one being they're adorable, And the second being they evolve into Swampert, which is Mudkip already a groundwater type of thing? I think it is, right? Oh, look at me. I say Mudkip's my favorite Pokemon, but I don't even know this. You know what? I'm gonna Google it. Mudkip. Nope, Mudkip is just a water Pokemon. And they only gain the ground type once they've evolved into a Marsh Stomp. Haha. Internet.
You totally knew that off the top of your head.
I totally knew that off the top of my head. Which gives it immunity to the electric type, which essentially means they're only weak to the grass type, which is the least damaging of all the Pokemon types. Which, in a sense, makes Swampert the most powerful Pokemon in the whole franchise. But, that's just my extremely biased opinion.
I mean, you're feel free to be wrong, but
Okay, I see how it is.
I mean, I have to get you back for that crystal comment. Anyway, I think that's all the questions I have. We could it sounds more like I think we could just go on all day about stupid stuff, but
and I'm sure you're gonna have fun editing this whole thing.
I hope we get to do this again.
Of course.
This would be fun.
Yeah.
But before we go, I think you answered that earlier, but can you do it in a more concise manner by telling me as the last question? So you've effectively, I hope, have inspired the next generation of voice actors. What is the most important thing that an aspiring voice actor should know?
Ooh, let's see. In terms of practical career advice, I couldn't give you anything that someone else probably has already given you, and a lot of it is actually a lot of it can be Googled. There's actually a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com that kind of breaks it down very well. But the one thing that I will say that I don't think gets mentioned enough is to make sure that you take care of your mental health. Just because acting in general is a super competitive thing, and 90% of it is going to be rejection. Like, I only book 10% of the things that I audition for, and as human beings, we're evolved to feel social pain, to take rejection harshly. So it's important to keep the nature of the business in perspective, and to remind yourself that just because you didn't book something doesn't have any implication on your worth or your integrity as a human being, and as to see each audition as an opportunity to improve your craft, to practice your acting chops, and to just keep moving forward. Because there are a lot of no, you know what? I think that was the end of my answer. You can cut this that continuation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Khoi, for coming to for taking the time out to talk to us.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
Thank you. I hope we do get to. Seriously, I hope we do get to do this again, and maybe someday we'll see you in the UK.
Oh yeah, definitely. I hope to be able to visit. Where in the UK are you specifically? If that's okay for me to ask.
I'm based in the northwest of England.
I see.
Nobody cares about that place, to be
the good old nobody cares Shire or whatever.
Wow. Wow, I didn't think it would be that harsh. But in the meantime, until you can come to Nobody Cares Shire, where can people find you, Khoi?
On Twitter, I would say.
Does your Twitter have a name?
Yeah. At Khoi Dao, KhoiDaoo. Is that how many
Khoi
O's?
Dao.
Khoi Dao with 3 O's.
Okay. All right.
That's where I hang out and post pictures of my cats. That's where you'll be able to find me 90% of the time.
He's going to, for the next week, he's going to change all of his content to Mudkips only. Anyway, In the meantime, you can find all of that retweeted at Nintendo Play UK on Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube under the same names, Nintendo Players UK. And hopefully, we'll see you guys on the next slightly longer talks. But yeah, don't forget, guys, if you want to find your own local Nintendo player groups, use our website at www.nintendoplayers.uk, and you can find a local Nintendo player group near you. And heck, you may even find more about other voice actors that we or other developers we may talk to in the future on the website. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I shall see you guys soon. So bye, Khoi.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. And see you next time. And as always, happy gaming.